Hello and welcome to Networking and Interviewing 101. What we will go over in this video is the appropriate attire to wear to an interview or a networking session. This will cover business attire and particularly toward men, focusing on U.S. Common business attire. So, and it could be interviewing for a job or networking for a professional, as part of a professional organization attending some type of event. Of course, this is general, so you'll have to, another thing I would consider is looking into that organization, that company, and what is common to wear, but these will be typical business wears. So what we'll focus on is first the suit. A suit is the typical item for a man to wear to an interview or a networking session. These are two types of suit. You have the single-breasted and the double-breasted. The double-breasted has the four buttons, but it was common in the 1980s. This single-breasted is more common today, and it's what you want to consider wearing to an interview or networking session. It comes in 2 or 3 buttons, and also you'll notice the lapels are slightly different. That's this portion of cloth. This is the typical style that is common today. Next, in terms of color, what you'll want to consider are either solid colors such as black or navy blue, like a dark blue. You can also consider a dark gray. Lighter grays and tans are usually reserved for either spring or less formal events, but to an interview you would consider the darker colors. You could consider pinstripes. These are pinstripes that they're vertical stripes. They're thin and subtle. The thicker stripes aren't as common for interviewing or professional networking sessions. You'll also notice these are just examples of different lapels that are more common in formal wear, such as tuxedos, but the lapel up here is the most common for suits that you would wear to an interview. And then these are different variations of a lapel, usually found in a tuxedo. Next, what we'll talk about is, also one more thing, you'll notice that the pants should be made of the same cloth as the jacket, so they are an exact match. The second portion that you will choose to wear is your shirt underneath. You'll notice both here they're white. It should be a collared shirt. So you'll notice these collar. This is the collar, and there are 2 types of buttons. Well, there are 2 types of sleeve arrangements. You can have a button, traditional button used to hold the sleeve on, or you can have a shirt that requires a cuff link. This is a cuff link. It has a part that moves so that you could put it through the sleeves, open it so that they hold the sleeves together and in place. You'll notice in this shirt that there is a button holding down the collar. That is not required. It's just it's up to you in terms of what style you use. You can either use a style like this, so it keeps the ends of your collar down, or you can choose a shirt that does not have the button and put collar stays in the shirt. This is a collar stay. It's usually a piece of plastic or a piece of metal, and you slide it behind the collar, and it will keep the collar stiff and straight instead of using the buttons. This shirt, because of the lines, would probably be a little too busy for a formal interview. You should consider the solid whites, or solid blue, or maybe a blue and white, and those are recommended most for interviews. Other colors are not recommended for the formal interviews. Another thing to consider is the tie. Once you have the suit and the pants and the shirt, Make sure your tie matches your shirt or complements your shirt and your suit. So let's say your suit is black and you had a blue shirt. These two ties would be completely appropriate, as they would complement the your wear. You'll notice that the pattern is simple and not complex. This is an example of one of the more formal knots. This is a Windsor knot. You can find that in another YouTube video. Not going to cover that in this video. So these are examples. Also, the tie, as you're tying this tie, you'll want this knot to be at your neck, and then the end of the tie, that point of the tie should be at or very close to the buckle of the top of the buckle of your pants. That's how long it should be. And in doing that, the other piece of cloth may extend beyond this piece of the tie. To keep it in place, you can either tuck it into your shirt or use a tie clip. These are tie clips. Tie clips are not common. They're not as not as popular, but they can be used. These are various styles. You should probably use something simple if you're going into an interview to wear. But these are all acceptable ties, and these are examples of fancier tie clips. You should probably select something that is pretty simple. Now that you've selected your tie, your shirt, and your suit, do not forget your belt. This is a common belt, and this is a simple belt buckle. So you should, when in doubt, keep it simple. And then also, this is an example of a shoe that would be common. You'll want to make sure, these are supposed to be shines in the drawing, that your shoes are shined and that there are no scuffs or scratches on the suit. It's not worn out, that there are no holes in your shoes. That is not appropriate for an interview. And even if everything else looks good and your shoes are not shined and look professional, it may throw off your interview in terms of appearance. So other things to remember as you're going forward: make sure your clothes are not faded or worn, and there are no holes, and that you're not missing any, not missing buttons from your suit. Let's say not missing buttons. That, oops, there we go. That also, in wearing socks, so that's one thing that they both match each other, and they also complement the color of the suit. So that those are two things that you would want to consider in selecting your socks. So if you have a navy blue suit, if you're wearing some version of blue socks, no hats. Hats are not common. You'll also want, again, to make sure that you, most importantly, you iron or press your suit. You could take it to a dry cleaner, and or you can use, some people use a suit steamer. Those are usually a bit more expensive than irons, but they also do the job. Or you can take it again to a dry cleaner, and make sure your suit, your tie, and your shirt are all ironed and pressed. Hanging it in a steamy shower is not enough. Make sure that you iron out all the wrinkles so that you look professional. And probably the last portion that is the last comment that I will share. In the next video, we'll cover grooming, what you should consider in grooming, and then also common items that you should take with you in an interview.